Good morning, everyone. It's been a long, hot weekend here in Tucson. Rain here and there. Last night it tried to rain, but it didn't want to. It just spitted a little bit. Some clouds, some lightning, but nothing big like it's been. Oh my gosh. That one storm we had come through last week, it was scary. I made a video about it too. Those winds were booking. I thought the roof of the house was going to fly off. I swear I thought I saw it move. I came right to my room and I started praying Psalms 91. I had my grandchild with me. I really thought, I felt like the house moved. I'm not kidding. That's how bad the wind was. So I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things. So yesterday I was in prayer. And I started thinking back about a couple years back, because I'm starting to make videos about Quick to Judge and how it can happen, and it can happen fast. And so, but I've noticed that when I go back and make my videos on the certain things that happened to me this weekend, one I saw was complete lie. She lied right to my face. And the second one, and there were witnesses in the car. And we all heard what she said. And so the other incident was in person, and it was another person and me, and I didn't know her. She was a stranger. So I'm praying, and I asked God for forgiveness. It was a couple years back, and in my podcast I mentioned it as well, in that interview. I was asking God for forgiveness for being quick to judge. I was summoned for a court thing, and they were looking for people to sit through a trial. And they asked a question. They asked, how do you feel about, could you judge something properly when you know that when you're on a substance or anything that you shouldn't drive? And I raised my hand right away, because there's so much warning, even on medicine bottles. Do not drive if you're under the influence. People are under alcohol. It's so, it's embedded. How do you ignore that? So I raised my hand. That I couldn't, that I could not serve knowing, how I already feel about something. And then they asked another question, if we were familiar with something. And I don't remember the name of it, but I was not familiar with it. There was only one person in the room that was familiar with it. And so when I was repenting, my feelings on that, the Lord said, there's such a real still quiet voice said to me, you were not to serve that because of your slight comprehension. Because for me, I have to read it and study it, and it would take a lot of time. And I might not have understood it if it was a quick trial, or they would have had to bring me a lot of extra for me to really do the work on it. So it may have delayed things, and I appreciate that, because it was the truth. I didn't know, but I felt that I couldn't serve correctly. So I was being honest. There were only 2 other people other than me that had felt the same way. They didn't use me on that, which I'm glad, because it's true, about how I felt. And so I wanted to bring that forth, because but I wasn't even thinking about that part of it. I was still thinking about driving under the influence, but it was meant to be. And I appreciate that I'm able to speak the truth, because it could have really made a big mess out of that whole case. So I'm just really thankful for that. I hope everything was it's really good to be honest with how you truly feel about it, especially when you have a human being's life in your hands, because you don't know what could take place for that person, and that's why we have a system in place to help with those things. So I just want to leave that with you. Remember that the Lord loves you first. God bless. Take care. Peace.